hello, hello. Welcome back, everyone, to our fourth panel for RuneScape. Welcome back. We have the amazing... Hello, hello, hello. We have the amazing team behind the new area expansion, Havenhythe. Who's excited for it? Fantastic. So if you didn't see the keynote yesterday, the RS Ahead video, here it is again on the screen for you. We are about to play it. Cue the video.
This future has not yet come to pass. And with your help, it never shall. Havenhythe is a peaceful place. The people here are simple, good-hearted folk. Farmers, fishermen, miners. These lands are rich and teem with life. Through gleaming rivers and ageless woods, magic sleeps beneath the earth. I have guarded this realm since the First Age, protected it from the threats of the outside world. My people have no fear of the dark, but the darkness may find them yet. I know what lurks within it, a threat I cannot face alone. Things that do not belong in our world. They poison the very land with their lust for blood. These monsters are the greatest danger my people have ever known. I am Inanna, guardian of Gothics. Stand with me against these ancient, treacherous creatures. Their leaders will stop at nothing. Heed my call, hero, and save Havenhythe from this terrible fate.
Give it up for that video. Amazing.
It occurs to me before we start that we ought to give some applause to Mods Blkwitch behind the camera here.
Yes.
Whose team actually put together the trailer. Yeah.
Mods Van. Amazing.
They put this trailer together and they did an amazing job.
Definitely. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I want to welcome our panelists over here. We have the amazing Mods Blkwitch. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to Mod Breezy.
Hello, everyone.
We've got introducing Mod Steel. How's it going? And of course, Mod Jack.
Back again.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. So, to start off, let's go with one quick question. If you were to go anywhere in Gielinor, IRL, where would it be and why? Yes, let's start here.
Yeah. I think I would want to go to St. Distan. Like,
Oh, okay.
before I became an artist, I was doubting if I wanted to do like archaeology or art, and then went with environment art. But yeah, ancient city, basically still intact underground. That's pretty exciting.
Hordes of demons everywhere. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it.
I'll be fine.
It'll be fine. What can go wrong, right? How about you, Breezy?
I think I'd like to go to Zenaris.
Ooh,
I think there's like some
nice.
weird things going on in Zenaris. Got the cosmic altar. I think
Yeah,
there's a few things out there in the moon. Yeah.
Awesome. Love that. Love that. How about you, Mod Steel?
Yeah, I think I like Tavali. Just
Sure.
nice and simple. Seems like a chill place.
Yeah,
Druids about.
sure. Why not? Right next to a mountain.
Summon
Yeah.
some pets, you know.
Great.
Very
great.
relaxed place.
Super chilled.
I'd go
How
to
about you?
Havenhythe,
Havenhythe. That's where we're going to.
but only
Amazing.
the west coast. It's really nice on the west.
Only on the west.
It's grim when you get further in, but it's really nice in the west coast.
Absolutely. Well, speaking
And it's
of
gonna stay that
Havenhythe,
way.
yeah, of course. So in terms of Havenhythe, in terms of the land itself, why, before we go into the questions for all of you guys, why have we picked this area?
So it's a complicated balance. the first and foremost, the motivation is that we need space to expand into. So, I mean, you guys know Fort Forent through, right? And I think generally everyone feels the same. We feel it as developers, players feel it. We don't really want to be stuck in one tiny map square for the entire year. And what we really need is space to create content, space to explore. So first and foremost, we need to be going somewhere. But after that, it's not a purely creative process like let's just come up with ideas and just pick one that sounds cool. There are lots and lots of different factors to take into account, like what sort of art resources we have available, what sort of tone we're looking for, what sort of different types of player we're trying to hit. And so it's all about essentially compromising between all of those different ideals. So we had, it must have been 20 pitches or something like that. And the Law Council primarily were going through all of these because we were looking at it initially from a sort of law and flavour perspective. And then involving Blkwitch in terms of like, can we do this? And you're like, no, yeah, no. So, you know, what's practical, what would be interesting, what's creatively inspiring. So it's a combination of all these different factors. And effectively, Havenhythe is what came out of that process.
Right.
It won out over the other options. Oh, sorry, I should say, of course, also player validation was really important. We actually did some, what would we call them? Like consultations.
Yeah,
essentially.
focus groups, right?
And we put some pitches in front of players, and Havenhythe was the one that came the best out of that.
Yeah,
so we sort of narrowed it down and then validated with the players.
Exactly, absolutely. It was super important. And any questions? We want to take it straight for everyone here. Let's start, gentlemen, just in the front row. Who's got the mic over here? Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What about the build-up to Havenhythe? So we know it's going to be end of year / next year. Will we see NPCs appearing prior to that? Or will we see a 2-week event where we're building something similar to Anachronia in order to get to Havenhythe?
Yeah, yeah, we're thinking of doing a pre-event. We haven't nailed down exactly what that is yet, but yeah, we'd love to do something like that, something everyone can get involved in.
It would be the delicate balance. I think would be that in likelihood it would be something temporary, and it probably wouldn't remain in game, but it probably therefore wouldn't be a kind of a prerequisite part of the story. One idea. So one player was talking to me about this, and I quite like this idea, but I'm not sure about it yet. So it very explicitly doesn't link to the end of the desert storyline, but it's possible that there could be a sort of little bit of content, maybe we have this sort of gap towards the end of the year before Havenhythe starts. Maybe there might be an opportunity there to put a sort of gentle link in with Desert, so that for the people who are currently playing and just finished the Desert storyline, it feels a bit more smooth, but without it feeling like it's kind of a mandatory link for the people who are coming in new with Havenhythe, if that makes sense. But that's very much not planned yet.
Thank you so much. Anyone on this side? Yeah, just gentlemen, just over here. Thank you so much.
Real simple one. How big do you think Havenhythe is compared to the rest of the map?
In grand exchanges, please.
In grand exchanges, I can actually answer that. Approximately. I'm not going to just like say one number and it'll definitely be that. One grand exchange is 1 map square. I'm thinking for the whole thing, with all of the different stages, we're probably looking at about 100 to 150 maps. To put that in perspective, that will be like about 1.5 to 2 times Anachronia. At its maximum size is what we've kind of reserved for it. It might be a little bit smaller. But we need to hit the right balance between having a lot of space and making it feel good, while also not making it feel empty and making it feel tedious to run around. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth while we work on it continuously, all through until we ship, where we'll run through it together with design and QA and everyone, just have lots of playtests and try to hit a sweet middle ground between feeling spacious and epic and not annoyingly big.
There's going to be a lot there. There's going to be a lot there to do, right, in terms of what we've been able to tease so far. But yeah, there's a lot that people can do once we're there, I guess, in terms of, for example, if we were to bring in anything with, in terms of when we had our focus groups and stuff, the player voice was super important in showing us and telling us what was wanted from everyone here. So yeah, we try to make sure that we try to find that balance, right, between both of us in terms of players and
that balance between having dense areas that are full of content, but also having places that are just kind of beautiful to travel through.
Yeah.
Getting that balance right, getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and we want to have space to add more stuff in the future, because like the overworld is so fully packed with stuff. We want to make sure that we have space in Havenhythe. Then like, I don't know, 5 years from now, we want to add more quests or something, that we have room to do that. and it doesn't feel incredibly backed from the
I think we've really learned from both Anachronia and Zaya in that regard that Anachronia was actually intended to create space for content, but it was full on launch. And when which one was it? The farm,
Dinosaur
prehistoric
farm?
Potterington.
Yeah.
Ranch Out of Time.
Ranch Out of Time.
Raven was trying to put that on Anachronia, and he was looking. He went, "There isn't anywhere on this massive island where I can just put this. It's full already." So obviously that was too full. But then obviously Zaya, we've looked at the response to that, and that was too empty. It was a huge area, and there wasn't enough to do. So we're trying to find the right balance between those two, and you know, I'm sure we'll make mistakes this time, but we'll learn from them, and we'll keep improving. You know, so we keep learning.
Nice, nice. Just a question, gentleman with the wrist on the left hand. Yep, give us a wave. There it is. Wave again. Oh, who's closest? There we are. Thank you so much.
What sort of inspirations did you draw upon when you were designing Havenhythe?
Ooh, that's a nice one. What inspirations did you get for drawing Havenhythe?
So I mentioned earlier about like the compromise of the various different ideas, and so like one of the other obvious questions to ask might be something like, you know, why Havenhythe and not Akron? And one of the key things that we really wanted to focus on, how do I phrase this? It's like there's a sort of almost twee, sometimes Englishness, sometimes Britishness to RuneScape's content, which sometimes gets a bit lost. I think RS3 has less of that feel than RS2 did. And so we want to try and get back a little bit to that slightly more specific feel rather than a slightly more generic fantasy feel. So a big inspiration in that sense would be just sort of English countryside or myths of historical English countryside, you know, maybe pre-Roman Britain, that kind of idea, or Anglo-Saxon Britain. In very broad terms, I would say, would be an inspiration. I don't know if you have a different answer visually.
Yeah, English countryside, most beautiful scenery in the world, I think.
Everyone says that of their own country.
Well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on which countryside you're talking about, I guess.
Birmingham car park, that's our inspiration.
Lovely white view from here. It's great. It's awesome. Any other questions? Yeah, we got gentleman just in the glasses. We'll go one to the left and right. Thank you, thank you. Hi.
Hi, I wanted to ask if there's going to be like a quest or many quests, because the area is going to be split. The area is going to be split into 4 parts, yeah. So is there going to be like a quest progression through the 4 parts of it, or just one big quest, or how is it going to be divided?
So is there going to be quests between? Is there going to be 4 quests between each part? Or?
Yeah, like we want to tell a coherent story from getting to the island and getting to the end of it. That will be split up into parts, but yeah. So I don't know how many quests exactly. We haven't figured that out yet, but we definitely There's a. So we wouldn't think of it as one big quest, but it should feel like a big story.
Yeah, but the Vampyrium part of the quest of the area, is it also tied into the whole like the 150 Gs? Like, is the Vampyrium part also gonna be? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So Vampyrium, like we see that at the end, and there's the portal. And
it will I mean, in terms of quests, it will continue on into. Yeah. It's kind of the same storyline that continues on. If that makes sense.
Like we want. So for this section, we want to end with some. You know, we want to give you a feeling of closure, so that you feel like you've finished something of a storyline. But we're definitely leaving that open for what's going to come after that.
There will definitely be hints and stuff that will lead on to the next unanswered questions, right? That would be cool. That's awesome.
Bit of a cliffhanger, maybe.
Yeah. Or maybe a cliffhanger. We don't know. Gentlemen, let's go just to the right side. Gentleman just at the back. I think it's the gentleman. I can't see. Yep. You just turned around.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, can we maybe get a teaser? Will Havenhythe be linked to the new skill that's being in development?
A new skill?
So I mean, I mentioned space, and so likelihood, obviously, we can't really talk anything about the skill at all, but assuming that the skill is something that needs space for content, then Havenhythe is there to create space for us to put content on. So if that was a thing, then we would be planning Havenhythe with that in mind, and we put it that way.
can imagine. Yeah, there's a lot of space for it, but there's a lot of discussions about what we're able to fit on in terms of like skilling and anything like that. To imagine it's a lot of stuff, a massive blank canvas, I suppose. Anyone on this side? Yeah, just at the back over there, just at the end. Hello.
Hello. So I know you've kind of talked about like there being one overarching storyline for Havenhythe. I played Varlamore on release on old school, and I really enjoyed like the fact that there were like some small one-off quests. Are you guys intending on doing like some small goofy one-off quests or some small like maybe 2-3 mini storylines during this?
Yeah, I think we see it as like an opportunity to tell stories about the whole place, just as a whole. It's full of characters. It's full of mystery. There's lots and lots of different stories that we can tell. Who are these characters in these little towns? Is there someone out in the forest or something like that that you can learn about? Even just mini quests, mini interactions, things that you help build or put there. There's all sorts of opportunity to do it, and it's like definitely something we want to do for Havenhythe.
Before I do forget, actually, I wanted to do a quick reminder for our lovely JMods and ask you all, actually, what's your involvement in the new area expansion? What's your main focus each on? What are you all working on through this? Let's start with you on Blkwitch.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm an environment artist, so obviously I will be leading the actual creating of the land for Havenhythe for it. Ideally, and I'm sure we'll have other environment artists helping out, I will drag Mod Alex on it. But yeah, that's going to be my main involvement with it.
Has it been a big challenge to run through this? What's been your biggest challenge so far in terms of environment?
My biggest challenge is the fact that in our editor that we use to build the world, you can only open one map at a time, so you can only open and edit one area of the size of the Grand Exchange at a time. And you can have multiple ones open, but you constantly have to
And remind everyone how
tabs.
many you said?
100 to 150.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot of just opening and reopening stuff and being like, oh, I need to go to the next one.
Oh no.
You can't seamlessly edit between
It'll
them.
be worth it though. It'll be worth
yeah,
it,
it
we
will.
promise. How about you, Breezy?
As designer, I'll be working quite closely with Mod Steel, Mod Jack, and even Mod Blkwitch on just various bits of what makes Havenhythe. Specifically, the 110 skills and skilling as a whole on Havenhythe. So we mentioned about the 110 Hunter feature on Havenhythe. So the things that we've been talking about are like, what does that look like? When we talk about Havenhythe being for everyone, what does that look like with the 110 skills? So if, for example, if we do 110 Hunter and we introduce some sort of new method, like big game fishing or something like that, is it just for 100 to 110, or is it also for other levels like 60 to 70 and 30 to 20 to 30, for example? Things like that. So skilling as a whole, what makes RuneScape skilling, and how does that look on Havenhythe as well?
Can you give any of the players any like hints at what they might expect potentially? If you're not allowed to say, you're not allowed to say. It's fine. Getting glares
skilling
from
in general,
Jack over there.
Got my eye on you.
Okay,
I mean, you could with any 110 basically, aren't you? Just make one up.
You can make any announcement you want right now.
We'll do. I'll just make some stuff up on the spot right now. We'll do upstream fishing.
Upstream, yeah, why not? Ice fishing, you know.
Underground mining. Let's see. We'll bring back the wingsuit from archaeology and make you fly about. But no, I
will kill you.
We want 150 map squares 3 times. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, and we have a lot of ideas, and it's really fun, and it's like almost just a sandbox for us to start putting our ideas into, and the ideas of all the players as well, the things that you love, the things that you really want to see, new things that we can try out.
Brilliant.
It's been in the discussions we've been having, the priority's been that we want the skilling updates to fit well with where we're going. And that although the primary motivation is just to make sure there's some space, we don't want it to feel kind of just crammed in. It's just a random thing going on here. And so there's been a lot of back and forth between, you know, what content we want to make and what the area that content will be in sort of inform each other.
It's like make it make sense, right?
Yeah.
You're
Exactly.
putting it in for a reason. It's there because you would expect it in a place like this.
But that's also like, again, a big point of conversation is like the RuneScape experience over the past 24, 25 years now, of like when you're adventuring throughout the land, all over the mainland like Mistborn and whatnot when you go to the Ark. How do all those things feel, and how can we repeat the RuneScape essence in Havenhythe? So
awesome. Mods Blkwitch, this is first time. A lot of players have not seen you yet, so welcome to Mods Blkwitch, who is working on our area expansion. Big round of applause for Mods Blkwitch. Hello. So how about you? What's been your involvement so far?
Yeah, so so I got the brief of, we have this narrative and we have this place that we want to put it in, and so the big question that was posed to me is like, what do we do here, and how do we make this work? So it's kind of a logistical puzzle, thinking a bit about what kinds of content we want to put in there, like which 110 skills can we put there, which ones make sense with the land. So there's this coherency of the location, the activity we're doing there, and the story all working together. And that's my big aim, is that all of these things tie together really well, so that even if you're questing, if you're just skilling, if you're just there to see the scenery, that you're always engaging with the story one way or another. You're always, moving along with it. So yeah.
Awesome. And lastly, Mod Jack, I can't...
I guess I'm supervising everyone else.
Yeah, basically, just keeping everyone in check.
Ideally, I have nothing to do because everyone else is doing everything fantastically, but in practice, I'll be getting in and meddling, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Making up names for ancient gods and things like that.
No, but yeah, I suppose that a lot of the story, the quest, has that been partly you writing?
Yeah, I mean, the original pitch was mine, but working quite closely with the Law Council and others to just sort of make sure that we've got something that we're all bought into and happy with.
Definitely.
Getting everyone's feedback and making sure we're all there.
We hope you enjoy it.
Over. This was my deliverable: was get it ready, get it in at RuneFest, get it announced. Hopefully, everyone doesn't hate it. So
hopefully, we don't hate it. Do we like it?
And
Do we
I
like
think
it so
it's been
far?
positive.
Good. Amazing. We'll get some more questions in. Anyone else have any questions?
It's been my baby for the last couple months.
Lovely. Gentleman in blue party hat, just over here.
So I've just got a quick question about, will it tie in with what we've seen in Lord of Vampyrium, and is there any benefits for doing that quest line before this, or is it its own separate entity?
So I have a specific strategy in mind for this. It's very much not final. Like, things can always change, but I'm happy with the way we've handled this the last couple of times, where it is very important here that it be a good onboarding point, not just for new players, but for lapsed players, returning players, people who've just sort of lost track of the game and aren't just caught up with everything, which is more of our players than you would think. We need a fresh onboarding point without requirements. But as the storyline goes on, as we continue the adventure into Havenhythe, requirements can start to creep in, as we've done with our last couple of storylines. And so there won't be any existing monarchy requirements for the initial content, which means that we won't be touching on those plot points initially, maybe in the very loosest sense, but Vanescula's not going to show up, because we've experimented with ideas of we'll just count that as completed narratively, and Vanescula just shows up. That doesn't work either. So we'll be avoiding those plot points initially. But as we've done with Desert recently, and what was the previous time we did it? I can't remember now. But we allow those plot points to creep in and those prerequisites to creep in as the storyline continues, and it kind of merges together. So my expectation, and again, this isn't final very much, could change, but my expectation would be by the time we get to Vampyrium, I would have expected the existing storyline to then be required in kind of the same way that we've just done with Desert. That seems to be working well, but we'll have to obviously keep evaluating it as we go on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone on the right side over here? Yes, Ahmed. I see you. I know this guy. Hello.
Hello. Could we expect to see a similar skilling method as Big Game Hunter in this new area? And also, is there any chance that we get more difficult puzzles and riddles in these new quests?
Ooh.
So when you say Big Game Hunter, what specifically are you referring to?
More mechanical and strategical.
And mechanics.
Why not?
It's partly a question. So there's a bit of a distinction between Havenhythe as an overall project and then the individual updates within it. So in a sense, like Steele essentially will be kind of supervising how it all fits together, but he's not necessarily designing the individual updates themselves. So it's sort of like when we talk about Hunter, there needs to be a Hunter update here. Hunter fits thematically. It means we can plan around it. It means we can assume that Hunter will exist 2 months from now and sort of build other rewards in there. but he's not necessarily, or none of us are necessarily designing that actual hunter update.
All right.
So partly that'll be a question for the update design itself, because a big part of our strength of the way we make content is individual developers get in and they're the ones that have the ideas and they're the one that brings it to life. Yeah. So we're not necessarily in advance even deciding something like that. It would be more of a sort of question for those individual updates.
I think you might disagree with me here, Jack, but it might not even be necessarily that it is everything is exclusively absolutely on Havenhythe. There might be a little feature on the mainland again. So if we do like big game fishing, for example, doesn't mean it can't be somewhere else on Gielinor. Yeah. And then your second question, sorry, remind me what was?
Puzzles and riddles.
The puzzles and riddles, the mechanics behind
I think
it.
it's getting that variety in. So there's
Elemental Workshop style.
Yeah, so
people gonna boo me.
Elemental Workshop.
Yeah, it's having a variety of content. So, what I would like to see is, we've got a bit of skilling, we've got a bit of maybe some more combat-focused updates, maybe some more quest-focused updates, and getting that variety. Hopefully something new as well, something unlike anything we've ever seen. And, so we get a bit of everything throughout the year.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Let's go to a question just on the right side over here. Gentleman just in the lovely RuneScape t-shirt. Hello.
Hello. Quick question, will Havenhythe get a lodestone?
Will Havenhythe get a lodestone?
I mean, I would expect I don't think we've even talked about this, have we? I would expect Wenderwick would.
Can you imagine they've just done the whole thing and they've just forgot to add a
I feel like
lodestone?
there should probably be more than one with the size that we're looking at.
We haven't had that discussion of... So because I guess the design tension here is if the lodestones are too convenient, then you never explore. But if there aren't enough lodestones, then getting around is a chore. So we'll have to look at the relative balance. You alluded to sort of playtesting the sizes of the area, and if it's just laborious to get around, we'll have to add more.
Is it going to be quite the terrain from your experience in the environment? Has it been quite difficult? Will it be quite difficult for players to get around, or?
No, that's what I don't want. Like, we were using Anachronia as an example earlier. Anachronia is beautiful. It's such a pain to get around until you have like the agility course.
What do you mean? It's great to get around. I don't know what you mean.
But it's also because the terrain is so uneven that makes it hard to put more stuff in there. So even if it's a very big environment, because everything is just like so uneven, you can't really just put something in there. So this will be more like, at least the first starting area will be more like what you would imagine Mistlin to look like if we would make it now in 2025? Yeah, we're 2025 now.
Yes, we are, yes. Had to check that. We are. Good. Awesome.
Yeah, it's getting that variety down. So there may be areas that are a bit more difficult to get around. I would certainly like the first area to be easy to get around. We're doing skilling. We want it to be convenient. We don't want to frustrate you. We want you to have fun. But later on, we do want to frustrate you a bit because it's a dangerous place. It's a scary place. So it's getting that variety down. I could waffle about level design for a bit, but I won't.
Especially when we get to the further areas, if there's lots of combat encounters, you can very well use the environment to funnel players and enemies the way that we want them to. But in the starting areas, it'll be a lot more open and easier to get through.
There's also like a lot of different methods of traversal. Like it could be a canoe system, for example. Maybe there's a river upstream and it goes all the way through. I really like rivers, apparently. Maybe there's rivers and whatnot, and you use some sort of canoe system. Maybe there is some sort of other teleportation system that works a specific way. There's lots of different ways to get creative with it.
Can I fit a fishing net to the back of my canoe so I can fish while I canoe?
110 fishing design.
Nice.
Thank you.
Designed it.
Awesome. Let's go to a question just on this side over here. Yep, just gentleman over there. Yep, I can't see. The light is right above you. Raise your hand again. Yep, that guy just raised his hand. Yes, in the glasses, I believe.
So I'm really excited to see the new expansion and the moving away from the packed content. But there's also a new trend with short form content and time to action, which is conflicting to the concept of large spaces, which I would love to. But I was wondering, do you have guidelines in your design to mitigate for time to action? So is there a rule like every 5 seconds a player must encounter an NPC? And from looking to other expansions like Ark and Anachronia, which feel very isolated and have little reasons to go to? Do you have something you have learned from, which you want to make better in the new area?
Yeah. So what have we learned from the other expansions that we've done? I suppose. Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah, I was going to say that again, it's getting that variety down. So we'll have some spots where. So I would think in the first area, we're going to have a lot of stuff. It's packed. There's people there. But I would also like to have areas where you can sort of walk and take in the scenery a little bit. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that every single space in Havenhythe should have a purpose, but there's also discovery and like mystery in it all too. So you might be walking around for a long time, but there is a purpose. You are getting to a point from point A to B for some reason. You might be going back and forth because you're doing a skilling session. Again, maybe if you're doing hunter or fishing, you're going back and forth between places. There should be a reason to go around, but there should also be a reason to explore and discover things as well, especially the first time that you go for these places.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let's go to over here. Let's gentlemen just in the glasses over here. Hello.
Hey. So with some of the stuff that you've been doing recently, where you've had like a boss come out and then had a quest version that's less, are you going to be doing that more in Havenhythe, where we almost get like mini bosses through the storyline?
Mini bosses through the storyline.
Yeah, there's going to be a big bad boss at the end, I think. we've decided that. We've confirmed that. And yeah, I think we will use the same sort of quest leading into a boss thing that we've done before. Yeah,
we've experimented with a variety. I mean, Namaskut's going to work slightly differently to how Vorkath worked, and Vorkath works slightly differently to how Zamorak worked, and so we keep experimenting with that formula. The basic idea that a boss fight makes for a good culmination to a storyline. That's just basic fantasy storytelling, right? But exactly how that works, we keep experimenting with. So if the Namaskut model works well, then we'll repeat it. And if so some of the previous attempts we had some problems. If we encounter more problems, then we'll identify them and fix them and try a new version.
I would say definitely find the combat guys and ask them about mini bosses, because they probably have some ideas.
Yeah, they've got a plan for that. We didn't announce it because we didn't want to announce things we were confident in.
They've got some really cool ideas.
They've got some really nice ideas for how they want to handle the island. Yeah.
Can we talk about, obviously in the video we showed the two leaders of the enemies of Havenhythe.
I don't think I have much more to say. So there's a little bit of discussion about them from a storytelling point of view. We want to make sure we've got it nailed down before we commit to something hastily. So there is more to say. There is more to say, but Zura will be very unhappy with me if I commit to anything that he disagrees with at this stage.
We'll keep it locked.
I'm going to steal the spotlight a little bit from the combat folk, and actually just to touch on the point about the bosses and stuff as well. Like some of those ideas is just thinking about it with a sort of fresh perspective of like having overworld bosses or mini bosses, things that you come across. Maybe even thinking about like Slayer bosses, for example, from old school. Not the specific ones, but just that sort of idea of things that even just everyone can just go around. Maybe it's just as simple as a big massive bear, yeah.
Not confirmed, but we love it. We love it. So we want to do it, just can't confirm it.
There's no shortage of ideas, basically. We've got lots of cool stuff. It's just figuring out which ones we will do.
Exactly. Let's go on this side. Yeah, gentleman over here in the blue party hat. Yes.
Hi there. Quick lore question. What gods do they worship in Havenhythe?
Oh, what gods do they worship in Havenhythe?
They probably don't. So we had a bit of a discussion about this, didn't we? What does the church look like? What does the prayer altar look like? I was like, oh my God, I hadn't thought about it. The art guy suddenly started messaging me saying, what should their prayer altar look like? And we had a massive discussion about it. And
what
was the answer in the end? Or did we end up with a final answer?
I remember seeing like a whole monologue that you wrote.
I did write quite a long lore spiel on what it should be, yeah. So the basic answer, so my assumption, this is not a final answer, but my assumption is that Inanna, unlike most of the Guardians of Guthix, has actually remembered that you're not supposed to worship as a Guthixian. So they are probably technically Guthixian, but in the actual sense where they don't actually worship Guthix. And their prayer altar is likely to be some sort of nature shrine or symbol of cultural centre or something like that, rather than like a statue of Gothics. But I don't know if we've got a confirmation on that.
Yeah, I personally like the idea as well that there might be some smaller altars for people kind of worshipping Inanna, because if you have like a big magical wolf running around, you kind of want something there maybe. But
there's an irony in the Gothixians of part of a lot with my Gothic. Sorry, I'm going to go on a nerdy tangent, but part of my
please do.
There's a picture in Fiara. Is that just outside where Fiara is, right? Of her being worshipped, and I love that little engraving because there's a story there, and I found that really inspirational when I was writing Gothixian lore. Because I don't think it'd ever really been explored. I actually don't know what the original inspiration for that image was. I don't know who made it or why they made it. But to me, what that showed, the way I interpreted it, was that at some point in the past, Fiara was worshipped. And now that she's a Gothixian and a guardian of Gothic, she's no longer worshipped, it's no longer appropriate, and she keeps it around as a reminder. That's how I think of it. And so, but that irony of the fact that humans have a habit of worshipping powerful beings, but Gothics and the Gothixians are supposed to not do that, I think is really ripe for storytelling.
Yeah, and I think there'll be a presence of Inanna within the town, within Wendelwick, but yeah, sort of ambiguous as to whether it's like a religious thing or just, they like her. So,
Sounds really cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Just gentlemen in the front row over here. Thank you so much. Hello.
Can you pet the dog?
Oh, can you pet an Inanna?
Nobody dares to.
Yeah.
Oh.
But can we dare?
You can only shoot it. Shoot it.
Shoot the dog. Shoot the god. Shoot the guardian. I don't think that will go down well. Probably not. Any other questions? Any more questions? We'll get some at the back because I've neglected the back. I apologise. Just on the, just over there on the right side. Person is just, lovely lady. I think she's wearing glasses. I can't see because of the light. Yes, hello.
Hello. Will there be a new area task set, and will we see a new Mune skin?
Task set and?
Mune skin.
Ah.
So for area tasks, I have noted it down on the to-do list, but it will have to be prioritized against all the other features we want to have there. So maybe it's not something that we're not aware of, but it will have to decide because the area tasks work when there's a big density of content to build the tasks out of. So if you put it in too early, there's kind of nothing to do and it feels a bit slight. So we'll have to decide when that comes, if that comes, what it would reward. As for the skin, I have no idea.
What was the skin, sorry?
Moon, isn't it the one of the pets?
Oh, Mune?
Mune, yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's a good question, yeah. Possibly.
I actually don't know.
We're taking on feedback. We're writing these notes down. We'll take this on. There will be a place for everyone to, if you have any other questions after this and you want to, if you don't think of them now and you think of them later, our lovely JMods will be here to answer any of your questions after and online as well. We'll put them on Discord, so we'll have a specific place for all the feedback to be collated if there is anything you want to ask us. But let's go on this side. Just gentleman at the back there with the glasses. Just waving his hand. There he is. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hello. Does Havenhythe sit within the Age of Chaos, or does it kick off a new age in Gielinor?
Yeah. I mean, it's Age of Chaos isn't really a properly formal title. I just didn't really want to call it Seventh Age. So yes, broadly speaking, it's within the time period after the Sixth Age. There's not another new time period.
Cool. Any on the at the back there? Wave your hand. There they are. Hello. Yes, just back there. Wave your hand again. There they are.
Would you consider adding clue scroll steps to the new area?
Consider
it's
adding
tricky.
clue scrolls.
So the problem with clue scrolls is that they make the area very fragile because the steps, they break very easily whenever anything gets changed. So it's not that we can't, and they're quite a good fit for the area, but they also will probably constantly break. So we're quite torn on it.
I think to that and the question about area tasks as well is that we want to hopefully continue to build on Havenhythe way into the future. It's a new playground for us, add content as we go and have fun with. So never say never.
Definitely. We've got time for a couple more questions. Just at the back over there, gentlemen, if you just wave your hand for me. If you wave, I'll tell you. Yes. Just over there. This person here. There he is. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hey, based off the concept art, could we see a resurgence of sheep shearer quest?
Sheep shear quests. Who wants to take this one?
Can the sheep swim up rivers by any chance?
I actually did a project years ago. It never went live. I was trying to turn
sheep
no, it was
shearing.
sheep herder, not sheep shearer actually, but it's related. I was trying to turn sheep herder into a mini game, and I based it on Hungry Hungry Hippos.
Sure. Okay.
So it was like it was a 4-player mini game where you had a little paddock, and you had to run out. You had a ball. You'd throw your ball, and the dog would run, and then the sheep would flee from you and from your dog.
Sounds very
And
complicated.
so you had to try and steer the sheep into your paddock, and everyone else was trying to do the same thing at the same time.
That sounds amazing.
We should make that. Except
Yeah.
we shouldn't, because we shouldn't make a 4-player competitive minigame,
No, I
because no
think
one wants to play that.
We're,
But
we're literally making a new island.
there you go, let's do that.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Any
Sheep
more?
herder, but with a dog. It works.
Sheep herder with a dog. Game jam it, right? It's in game jam. Why not? Anyone on this side? One more on this side. Over here? Yeah, gentlemen, just in the front row. No, we've got one more. Here we are. Thank you so much. Hello.
So similar to the Roar of Osseous and the Pylon Bath, could we see something like the Howl of Inama for Havenhythe?
I think that there very much is a desire for us to have some sort of, less specific than you mean, but like some sort of mechanical consistency. So when we've looked at Anachronia or Prif and things, they have a sort of unifying mechanic that makes it feel like a place. But then it's very much the case of, well, that needs to be designed, and then it needs to work in a way that feels consistent, doesn't feel restrictive. So maybe, but we'll have to design it. We don't have one designed at the moment.
Wherein by the player is necessarily helping Inama as our fight necessarily progresses with the vampires as we aim to, I assume, help reclaim Havenhythe.
At a thematic level, it would certainly make sense to associate it with Inanna, but it might, like, there's fruitful thematic grounds in the ruins in the second area as well, for example.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what we feel works best. Because, like, for example, if Inanna doesn't have a presence towards the other end of the land, because the whole point is that she's protecting the town, then it wouldn't unify the whole island. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, we
It's an
want to
island,
fill
it's
the
not an
place.
island.
Yeah, we want to fill the place with cool stuff as we go. And I think one of the big things that we're designing with at the moment is leaving space for these kinds of things, so that over time, again, just repeating what I was saying earlier, but we're designing it in a way that there's always space for these cool ideas, because that is a cool idea.
Yeah, I suppose if you overfill a space too quickly, you end up having nothing to put anything in, right?
Yeah,
So it
we're
becomes
writing
harder
on
to-
every other line.
Exactly. We will be doing a quick wrap up, unfortunately, as we are getting closer and closer to the end. We've got one final panel after this, which will be Glow Up Gielinor, where we're talking to the artists behind RuneScape. We'll be welcoming back Mods Blkwitch. But in terms of adventuring to new lands and Havenhythe, our lovely J-Mods here will be still here to answer any questions. If you have any questions, you can say hello to them. We probably have time for one more question, probably. Oh, yes, just over here.
So we're getting a new Guardian of Guthix, and it seems like, obviously, Havenhythe has been pretty isolated. Is she going to have a relationship with Juna and our other Guardians, or is this going to be new news to the other Guardians of Guthix?
Oh.
I would expect that we probably wouldn't dive into the deep lore of that initially. Similar to the question about Vampyrium quest prerequisites, is if we immediately jump into deep lore from pre-existing characters and stories, then it creates that strange sort of gap where we either don't have the quest prerequisite. Now, I mean, the Guardians of Guthix aren't mostly quest prereqs, but like if they want to have a conversation about, why was Inanna not there during the events of, which one was it? Was it Twilight of the Gods? Why was she not there? That would require you to have completed Twilight of the Gods. But there's no reason why it couldn't be mentioned in passing. Not as secretive as an Easter egg, but just, she could have a little bit of dialogue where you can ask her about it or something, yes. I wouldn't expect to build on it as a major plot point, at least initially.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Yes, so thank you. Please give it up for our lovely J-Mods who have joined us for Havenhythe. Thank you for being here. Please do stay by for 15 minutes. We'll be joining our lovely artist for Glow Up Gielinor. So we'll be back in 15 minutes. Thanks, everyone. Take care.